Recording has started. So let's look at some of the operations in JavaScript. But then before we go into that, I want to explain some terms. So operator, operation, and operands. Now, the process is the operation. This is a process. Operator is what? Let's say, okay. I'll put it this way. We perform an operation on operands using operator. Okay. We perform operations on operands using operators. So, operator is that thing that we use to perform operations on operands. I used an example in that book. I said if you are nailing a nail into a wood, what you are doing is you are nailing. That's the process. That's the operation. Then, what are you performing it on? You are performing it on wood. Using what? Let's say, okay, I think I said when you are using an hammer to nail a wood, yes, you are using an hammer. So this is the operator. Okay. So this is the operator. This is the operator that we are using to perform an operation on operands. This wood is the operand. The operation is the process. Operator is what you use to do the operation. Then operand is that you are performing it on. Now, let me be factual. All this definition, operator, operation, operand, well, they may not be so useful. Let's go straight to what we'll be using. So let's say if I say 6 plus 4, what I am doing here is that I am adding 6 and 4 together. That's the operation is an addition. How am I adding it together? What am I using to add 6 and 4 together? That is plus. The plus is the operator. Plus equals to operator. Then what am I adding together? 6 and 4. 6 and 4. They are operands. So the operation here is addition. This is operation. Then the plus is the one doing the work. That is the operator. Then I'm doing the work on 6 and 4. Both of them are operands. So let's look at some operations, JavaScript operations. We have the arithmetic operations in JavaScript. We have the assignment operations in JavaScript. Assignment operations. Then we have the concatenation, also known as the string operation. For now, we will consider these 3 tonight and look at others later. Arithmetic operations, assignment of operations, and concatenation, which is the string operation. Let's start from the first one, arithmetic operations. Arithmetic operations, they are performed on numbers. You perform them on numbers. Remember I said something in our last class. I told us that a data type of variable we determine the kind of operations you can perform on that variable. Please, can we remember? Haven't you watched the video of the last class?
Yes, that was mentioned in the last class. Yes, that's true.
So the data type of a variable.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the type of variable tell us the kind of operation that you can perform on that variable. Now, arithmetic operations, they are used on numbers. And let's look at some of the examples of these operations. Or better still, let me just go straight to operators. We have the plus. These are the operators that we use for arithmetic operations. We have the plus. We have the minus. No, this is addition. This is subtraction. Good. Then we have the multiplication sign, which is this is another operator. We have the division. This is another operator. The process is the operation, but this sign is the operator, is the one doing it. We have the division. We have the modulo. Where is it? Modulo percentage sign. We have the modulo. So plus, minus, multiplication, division, and modulo. These are under arithmetic operations. Then there are two that we are going to consider later, still under arithmetic operations. They are these two. The increment and decrement. Don't worry, we'll come back to them. For now, let's focus on these ones. I will explain the plus plus and the minus minus when we get to assignment operations. Note, this plus plus and the minus minus, they are both under the arithmetic operations and the assignment operations. So they are under these two. So I will explain them better when we get to assignment operations. But for now, let's look at these ones. Plus, minus, multiplication, division. Let's go. Now the plus sign, which is the addition, which does the addition, is used to add numbers together, as you know in mathematics. 5 plus 4, this one will give us 9. So let's allow 5 plus 4. This will give us 9. So it is adding that together, adding the two numbers together. That is the plus sign adds numbers together. Let's go to the next one. The minus subtracts, as you know. The multiplication multiplies things together. This division divides things. Now let's now go to, I think this should be this may be the only strange thing here. The plus, minus, multiplication and division, they do the exact thing they do in mathematics, in our basic mathematics. This percentage sign, it is called modulo. Modulo stands for the remainder after division. Remainder after division. Let's look at how that works. If I say alert 7 modulo 5. So the way it works is that it will try to divide it and take the whole number. 5 in 7, that is 1. Remainder 2, right? Abina?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. So 5 in 7
Yes,
is 1
sir.
remainder 2. Thank you. Is 1 remainder 2. The answer to this is just this remainder. So when you're dealing with modulo, it only deals with the remainder. It doesn't deal with the whole number here. Let's look at another example. So if you want this will give you 2. Modulo just deals with the remainder after division. Let's look at another example. If I say 15 modulo 3, 15 divided by 3, that's 5 remainder 0. So 15 modulo 3 is 0. Modulo only deals with remainder after division. Let's run it and see the results. Let's look at another example again. let's say 4 can say 4 modulo 3. That is one remainder 1. So the answer is this remainder, which is 1. Let's look at another example again. Let's say we have 4 modulo 6. Good. 4 modulo 6. Can 6 go in 4?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. So that would
Yes.
be 0.
Can go in 4.
0. 6 is like, how many times can 6 go in 4? 0 times. It can't go. So we put 0.
0.
Then
Sorry, mistake.
remainder. Since we are unable to cut this 4, it means that the 4 will still remain intact. Since we are unable to cut it. Do you understand?
Yes.
So
Yes, sir.
thank you, sir. So 4 modulo
Yes, that's
6
understood.
will be 4. Good. Thank you, sir. Let's go. Let's run this and see the result on the browser. 4. Let's proceed and check other example. Note, whenever the numerator is smaller than the denominator, modulo will always give you the numerator back. Once this one, the numerator, the one at the top, is smaller than this, then the result will be the numerator, since you won't be able to cut it, so it will remain intact. So we are done with the arithmetic operators. We looked at plus, minus, division, multiplication, modulo. So like I said, we ignore this for now and check assignments operations. Let's go. Use assignment operators. Remember I said the process is operation, but what you use to carry out the process is the operator. We use assignment operator to assign value.
Operator.
We use assignment operator to assign value to a variable. Let's see, or to something. Let's see how that works. If I say variable a equals to 6, or let me put it better in this way. You use assignment operator to keep value, to store value in a container. So in this case, we are using this equal to sign to store this 6 inside this a, right?
Yes.
It is
Yes,
equal
sir.
to that is really doing the insertion.
Yes.
Good, thank you, sir. It is the one doing the insertion. It is the one that is inserting this 6 into this container. So the operator here is equal to. So equal to is an assignment operator. It inserts value in a variable. Let's look at other assignment operators together. I'll write them out now. So we've looked at the first one. Let's look at this one, the second one. What the second one does is this. Let's look at a good example. Okay, good. We said variable a is 6. If I say a equals to a plus 3, that is, get the initial value of a, which is 6, add 3 to it, making 9, and store it back as the value of a. Do you get what this line does? Get the initial value of a, add 3 to it, and store it back as the new value of a. Who doesn't understand this line 15?
Making 9.
So if I say alert a, what do you think I'll see? So if I say alert a, please, what do you think I'll see?
9.
Good. So the value of a is now 9. This is different from this. Imagine this scenario. If I say a plus 5 and I say alert a. If I run this, what do you think I'll see?
6.
6, correct. The value of a will still remain 6. Although we added 5 to a, we did not store it back. So the value of a is still 6. We did not change what is inside that container. We still have 6 in this container. So if you say a plus 5, yes, 6 plus 5 is 11, but we are not doing anything with it. We are just saying 6 plus 5, which is 11, but we are not alerting it, we are not displaying it. And what the value of my a will still be 6. So if I come here and I say alert a, it will alert 6, since the value of a is still 6. We did not change it. I hope you understand. Do you have any question? Okay, so let's run this and see the result on the browser ourselves. 6. Now, so the difference between this and this is that this is adding 5 to it and it is storing it back. Add 5 to it and store it back, so that the value of a will now be the new value. It will be the result of whatever this is. So a shorter way of writing this is to write it as, so this line and this line, they mean the same thing. Line 15 and line 16 will give you the same results. So this plus equal to sign is an assignment operator. It doesn't just add them together, it assigns it back. That is, get the initial value of a, add 5 to it, and store it back inside a. So line 15 and 16, we do the same thing. So this plus equal to sign is an assignment operator. Any question? Okay, let's proceed. If I say a plus equal to 7, then the value of a now will be 13. Let's look at the next one, the minus equal to. The minus equal sign it works like the plus equal sign, but just that in this case it is minus, not plus. So let's say the value of a is 15, and I have a minus equal to, let's say, 6, and I say alert a. So what it's going to be is to get the initial value of a, which is 15. It will subtract 6 from it, making 9, and it will set it back. So the value of a is now 9. So let's run it as this. Let's check the next one. The multiplication equal to, it does the same thing. So that is, get the initial value of a, 15, multiply it by 6, making 90, then set it back. So a is now 90. Alert a. That's it. That will give you 90. Let's check the next one. Division equal to, get the initial value of a, divide it by 6, is it 2.3 or so, then set it back. So alert a. So a will be the new value, 2.5. Okay. Then lastly, on this, the modulo equal to. So what do you think this will give me if I want this modulo equal to? What do you think it will give me? If I say alert a, based on the explanation of the ones we looked at, what do you think this will give me?
Zero 0.5.
Any contrary opinion?
Is 0.
Let's look at this together and see the results. Thank you for your opinions. Now this is it. A is 15. What is 15 modulo 6? What is 15 modulo 6?
2.5.
No, you are not dividing it. Modulo does not have decimals. 6 in 15, it can go 2 times, remainder 3. I hope you understand. 6 in 15. 6 cannot go in 15, but it can go in 12. So that would be 2, remainder 3. So 15 modulo 6 is 3. Do you understand?
Okay, okay.
So 15 modulo 6 is 3. So what you are now doing is you are saying A equals to get the initial value of A, which is 15, modulo 6, which is 3, and set it back as the new value of A. So A is now 3. When you say alert A, so alert 3. Any question? I hope you understand
Okay.
this logic.
Yes, sir.
Let's
I
look
have
at.
a question.
Okay. You can go ahead now.
Yeah. What of in case if we want to do that of subtraction operation now, and we have 6 minus 15.
It will be negative, so the result will be
6
negative
minus
minus
15.
9.
So it will be minus 9, abi?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So let's say this is like minus, and this is 6, and this is 15. So the value of A will be minus 9. Let's proceed.
Alright.
So now to this
Thank
2,
you.
plus plus and minus minus. Ah, this part, I want us to be patient here. We may spend a bit of time here. And so if we're able to, okay, this is what I will do. I will explain this concatenation first. When I'm done with concatenation, then I will come here and explain this plus like, because this will most likely take some time. It's most likely take some time. So I will explain this concatenation. Then I will now come back to explain this plus plus and minus minus. So let's go. Concatenation. Concatenation. Another name for concatenation is string operation. Remember in our last class we talked about a string, and I explained to us that a string is anything in quotes. When you put something in quotes, then it becomes a string. I even went ahead to tell us that if you put 5 in quotes, this is not a number. It is now a string. It is no longer a number. JavaScript sees that a string. So remember, and
True.
I also explained to us in that class that the data type of a variable will affect how JavaScript will process that variable. So the way JavaScript will process this, it will be different from the way it will process this. This will be processed as a number, while this will be processed as a string. So let's look at how this string operation works. In JavaScript, the operator that is used for this concatenation is the plus sign. Again, the operator, remember, operator is what performs the operation. The operator that we use for concatenation is the plus sign. That means that the plus sign is doing two things. It is doing this arithmetic, it works as an arithmetic operator, and also work as a concatenator. That is, we look at what concatenation is about. Concatenation is like you are welding two things together. You are welding two things together. So let's look at an example. If I say, okay, you can use it for either two strings. You can use it to join two strings together. You can use it to join a variable and a string, and you can also use it to join two variables. Where one of them is a string. That's why we call it string operator, because almost everything when you are dealing with the concatenation, it usually involves a string. So you can use it to join two strings, is two strings, a variable and a string, two variables where at least one of them is a string. Let's consider this one after the other. If I say alert Taye Kenny, alert Taye Kenny, and I run it on the browser, it's not working. It's not. The problem we have is that in JavaScript, you don't just jump from, like, you don't just put two text side by side. This is a string, this is another string. You don't just put them. In fact, most people just, I can't just say 7 and 5. This will not work. If you ask itself, what should I do with these two? You can only, like, it's expecting me to just display one of them. Do I want to display 7 or I want to display 5? But if I put 7 and 5, it's not questioning itself that what's the relationship between these 7 and 5. There needs to be like a relationship between them. So maybe if I wanted to add them, I can put plus. If I want to multiply them, I can put multiplication like this. But it's going to ask itself that what should I do with 7 and 5? That is different from 75. 75 is just a single number. But 7 and 5 now, this piece is going to cause an issue. It's asking me that. It's going to ask itself that what should it do with this thing? It's not going to understand it. I hope you understand what you are saying. Are we confused? Are we together? Am I the only one here?
I'm with you.
Recap, sir.
Okay, let's go right again. So in JavaScript, you don't just put two text or two things together like this 7 and 5. No, it's expecting you to just put one of them. So if I say 7, 5, notice this space. It will treat them as two separate entities. It will treat them as two separate entities. So it's going to ask itself that what's the relationship between these two? Since there is no relationship between them, it will throw back an error. If you check your console, you will see error there. It's not working. When you check the console, it will throw back an error. It's telling like doesn't, what's going on is that it doesn't understand what's going on, how it should treat these two items. I need to join them together. Maybe if I want to add them, I can now add them together. So it will add them together. But then this is different from saying 75. 75 does not contain any space. So it will be treated as a single entity. So this will work fine. But this will not work. This is still preamble into concatenation. I hope you understand this. This will not work. So if I say alert Taye, it will work fine. If I say alert Kenny, it will also work fine. But if I say, let me close this. If I say alert Taye Kenny, now there's a problem. Alert Taye Kenny. We now have two separate entities here. And just like what I explained earlier, it won't work. It's telling me that what's the relationship between these two? What should I do with these two? I only want to display one, and here we have two items. Whether you remove one or you establish a relationship between the two of them so that the result can be just one. I hope you understand the explanation. Please, if it's confusing, please let me know. Can we proceed? If you understand, say I.
I.
Okay, sir.
I.
Okay, sir. Mr. Kunlelawa.
Hi.
Okay, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's move on, sir. So,
Yeah, I'm with you, sir.
have this. Next is, let's now establish a relationship between them. I want to weld them. Remember I said the plus sign is used to concatenate things. What it does is it just tie them together. It's going to tie them together. So let's check the results now. Can you see that they are now together? It has tied them together. That's what the plus sign does. It's this once it sees a string, it ties things together. This plus is a concatenator. It ties things together. So let's look at other examples. If I say Peter and James, and I want to tie them together, the plus sign will help me to tie them together. And when I check the results, I will see them welded together. Let me close this fresh. So that's the concatenator. So we've been able to use it to join two strings together. This is a string, and this is another string. So and this plus sign is joining them together. Let's look at the next one, a variable and a string. So let's create a variable. Variable, let's say name equals to Taye. So I want to display my surname with this name. I can say a variable which is name plus a string. So when we run this, it will concatenate them together. Concatenate them together. Taye, Apida. So this is a variable. Now, imagine this. Imagine if one of them is a number. We are coming back to this situation whereby one of them will be a number and how JavaScript will treat it. But then let's just assume our variable is just a string or a boolean. Oh, sorry. This is a boolean. Once it sees this, it will tie them together. Tie them together. Next, two variables where at least one of them is a string. So let's say I have second equals to, let's say, James. So now we have two variables. If you want to display them, you can join them together. So this will tie them together. If there is no plus, it will throw back an error. You can't just put two variables side by side. You need to tie them together. So this gives me two James to tie them together. So these are the instances that you use concatenation. You use it to join things together. A variable and a string, two strings, and two variables. Now that now makes things more interesting. I can now say alert. My name is, this is a string, this is a variable. So this gives my name is James. I hope you understand this. Oh. Hello everyone.
Hello, sir.
Sorry,
Hello, sir.
Hello, sir.
sorry. I'm sorry. I refreshed
Hello,
the
sir.
wrong page. I mistakenly refreshed the Google Meet page instead of the JavaScript operation page. Yes, can we see my screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's come here and refresh.
Yes.
Okay, good. My name is
Yes.
James. Let's go back to the code that produced this. Here is the code. My name is, this is a string plus this variable. So remember, concatenator can join a string with a variable as long as one of them is a string. As long as one of them is a string. Now, let's now look at one problem. The problem is that the plus sign is doing two things. It is used as a concatenator and it is also used to add things together. So sometimes you are faced with an issue. Imagine you have this. So what do you think I'll say? Do you think it will be 4? Or do you think it will be 10? Or it will tie them together as 6, 4?
It will add them together.
Good. It will tie them. It's going to add them together. That's because the two of them are numbers. This is a number, and this is also a number. Since both of them are numbers, it will add them together. But in an instance where one of them is a string and the other is a number, it will concatenate them. It's not going to add, it will concatenate them. Once this plus size is a string, it concatenates immediately. So we have 6, 4, not 10. That's because one of them is a string. Of course, if both of them are strings, it still concatenates. Let's move on. So, but when one of them, as long as one of them is a string, it concatenates. Let's proceed. Remember I said anything in quotes, it's like in our last class, I said anything in quotes is just like the exact way it is, and that's what is going on here. JavaScript could just take this and place it here and say the answer is 6, 4. That's the problem you'll be facing with the plus sign. Please note, that's one of the problems you'll be facing with the plus sign. Because it is the symbol that is both used for addition and concatenation. Sometimes it will add, sometimes it will concatenate. But how do you know where to concatenate? Once one of the two things you are joining together, once one of them is a string, it concatenates, it doesn't add. So in this case, you have 6, 4. Let's now look at something very interesting. Imagine you have, let's say, 2 plus 5 plus num plus 1 plus, let's say, 8. What do you think this will give me? What do you think this will give me?
769.
Okay, 769.
769.
Good. Now, let's first learn the result and see what the result will be before I go to the explanation. 7618. Now, here is the reason. In programming, codes are read from the left to the right. Of course, from top to bottom, then from left to right. So let's see what happens. Here, variable num is 6. Here, 2 plus 5, that is 7. To understand this very well, I will change this to Tolu. Okay, you will not tell me, you will not see this together. 2 plus 5, that is 7. 7 plus Tolu is not going to add them together because this is not a number. This is a string. So that becomes 7 Tolu. Have you now?
Yes.
7 Tolu plus 1. There's no way you can add 7 Tolu and 1 together.
Yes.
So instead, it will concatenate them together. That becomes 7 Tolu 1. Then 7 Tolu 1 plus 8. That becomes 7 Tolu 1, 8.
8.
I hope you understand this explanation. So 2 plus 5, 7. 7 plus num is Tolu, so that becomes 7 Tolu. 7 Tolu plus 1, that becomes 7 Tolu 1. Then 7 Tolu 1 plus 8, that becomes 7 Tolu 1, 8. In the same way also, okay, let's run this and see the results. So in the same way also, if we have 6 here, since that the text in quotes are not processed, they are just read the exact way, the exact way they are written. So this becomes 2 plus 5, that is 7. 7 plus 6, that becomes 76. This 76 is not 76, it's actually like this. So, and 76 plus 1, there's no way it can dissociate these two together. They are now like a single entity. So 76 plus 1, that becomes 761. 761 plus 8, that becomes 7618. I hope you understand.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Next is, if you understand this, we can now move to the plus plus and minus minus. Now we've established this. I want to be sure I'm not omitting anything under concatenation. Okay, lastly, yeah. Note that the principle is that whenever you are concatenating things, or whenever you are using this plus sign, I think that's better. Whenever you are using plus sign, immediately it sees a string, it starts treating everything after that part as string. So immediately it sees this string, it will start treating every other thing from that part to the end as string. Do you understand? Immediately it's 2 plus 5, yes, these are numbers. Immediately it sees this string, every other thing will be treated as string. Show you what?
Okay, sir.
So that's why it is actually concatenating all of this together. So lastly for today.
Excuse me, can I ask a question, please?
Yes, sir.
Instead of 7, 6, 1, 8, can we say 7, 6, 9?
No, we are not the one printing out the results. JavaScript is the one printing out the results. I'm only explaining why JavaScript is doing that. The results for the way JavaScript is treating is JavaScript will say 2 plus 5, 7. Okay, it will say 7. Next, JavaScript will now say this 7 plus 6. Remember the example I used the other time by saying Tolu. So 7 plus Tolu, that becomes 7 Tolu. Now this 7 Tolu plus 1, there's no way we can say 7 Tolu. We cannot add, since this is not a number. We can add 7 Tolu and 1 together. That becomes 7 Tolu 1. Then 7 Tolu 1 plus 8. There's no way we can add 7 Tolu 1 and 8 together. Instead, we can concatenate them. That becomes 7 Tolu 1 8. Do you understand this, sir?
Yes, I understand now. Thank you.
Okay. So, in the same sense also, if this is 6, that's why I explained in the last class that the data type of a variable will affect how JavaScript will process that variable. This is not treated as a number. Instead, it will be treated as a string since it's in quotes. So this becomes 2 plus 5, 7. 7 plus this 6, but this 6 is not a number, it's a string. So that becomes 7 plus the 6 in quotes. 7 plus the string 6, that becomes 7 6. But this 7 6 is not a number, it is actually being concatenated together. Just see it like that to look that I just removed. So this 7 6 plus 1, let me write it like this so that it's clear. This 7 6 plus 1, that becomes 7 6 1, because there's no way it can add this 7 6 and 1 together. Not 7 6 1. Then 7 6 1 plus 8, that becomes 7 6 1 8. Do you get it, sir? What that implies is that the plus here is addition.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
But the plus here is concatenation. Concatenation, concatenation. So after, once it encounters a string, it will start treating every other thing as strings. Can we move to the last thing, which is this plus plus and minus minus? This will be writing off very soon. I'm sorry.
Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, what if we have just 6, not in quotes?
It will treat it as number. So the result will be 7 plus 6, that's 13. 13 plus 1, that's 14. 14 plus 8, that's 22. So this will give us 22.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Do you understand it, sir?
Yes, sir.
Now, so this plus plus and minus one, let me quickly rush through it there. Right. Now, plus plus is called increments. We use it to increase value by one. What does that mean? If I have a variable and that variable is 8,
I have a question, sir.
okay, you can ask more.
Hello, sir.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, sir. What if that previous example? What if we have 2 minus 5
Oh, yeah, that's a very nice
plus
example.
bar, something like this. 2 minus,
Okay, let's say we have
sir,
this. Let's say we have something like this, right?
2 minus 5 plus num. Yes, and here after that num we have minus again.
Okay. To explain
Exactly.
this,
So what would be our answer?
okay, let me bring back the quotes. Of course, this we treat it as ordinary number, just like your basic mathematics, since this is a number. But let's assume it's a string.
Yeah,
Let's see a little
the
bit further.
string. Okay.
To explain this, look at this. If I say alert num minus, let's say num minus 3, this will give me 3. Now you are surprised that it's not concatenating them together. Remember I said the syntax for concatenation is the plus. This will give me 63 because this plus we concatenate them together. This will give me 63 like this. But this, on the other hand, we actually do your normal mathematical subtraction. Reason is because the problem is with the plus and not with others. The plus is the one doing concatenation. Others does not understand what concatenation means. Only the plus symbol does. Do you understand? So whenever JavaScript sees the plus sign, it asks itself, am I dealing with numbers alone or it involves strings? So if it involves a string, it will concatenate. But if it involves numbers alone, it will add. But other arithmetic operators don't have that problem. Once JavaScript sees that you put minus here, it assumes that you are dealing with numbers alone. So instead, it will subtract. Well, let me chip this in. Other programming languages will not allow you to do this minus. Because normally there's no way you can subtract 3 from a string 6. This is not a number. This is a string. This is a string. So there is no way you should be able to subtract 3 from a string. Normally I can subtract 3 from number 6. But I should not be able to subtract 3 from string 6 since it is not a number. But JavaScript just is so lenient. It assumes that since this minus is only performing one operation in JavaScript, since the only work of minus in JavaScript is to subtract, so it assumes that whenever you use minus, you definitely want to subtract. I hope you understand.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this will give me 3. But then if I say taille minus 3, if this were to be plus, it will just say taille 3, abina. It will concatenate them together. If this were to be plus, it concatenate. That's because plus is doing two things in JavaScript. It is adding and concatenating. But since this is a string, it will concatenate. This will give me taille 3. But if it were to be minus, it will tell me that this is not possible. Because it's going to check, oh, there's no way I can process this. I hope you understand. So if you tell me NaN, not a number. NaN stands for not a number. What this just means is what you are trying to, the operation you are trying to do is not possible. The minus is only meant for numbers. I hope this is not confusing. Is it
So
confusing?
hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Like this operation now is impossible, right?
Yes. Yes. So JavaScript is giving me the result is not a number.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes. So the NaN stands for not a number, meaning that the two things you are trying to subtract are not numbers. For this minus to work, both sides must be numbers. Do we get it? Do we get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Alright. So summary of this part is that the plus sign can concatenate and add, but the minus, division, multiplication, subtraction modulo, they only do that work, either it is addition or subtraction. So when JavaScript says any text in quotes and you use any of these, whether multiplication, it will assume that it is just a number and it will work normally. This will give you 21. To give you 21. But you can't, if this is not a number, then you won't be able to, let's say this is any other thing, this will tell you this is not possible. There's no way I can multiply it by 3. So we are running out of time. Sorry, like I said at the beginning of this class. I think that was before I started recording.